Hello. Hello. One of them handsy people. Hey, come on in. Everything's going on back. Come on, the water's just right. I've checked it myself. Oh, amazing. Okay. Never ends. Fun never ends. Yeah, but Noel's house party. That's what it is. Oh no, actually, it's not Noel's house party. It's nice Nick's ducks. I'm going to practice that. Anyway, this documentary I'm going to talk about tonight is called Wild Wild Country. It's about the mixture of cultures. It's about like a Christian culture, which is about America, mixing with the Eastern philosophies and cultures like Buddhism. So this is sort of like a cult that's close to Buddhism, mixing with an America that's very Christian. And America doesn't really do it. Does a lot of cults, but it's a wee bit wary of them after Waco and all. They do cults do have a nice liking to randomly kill themselves. They, those doomsday preppers, a very American thing. Um, uh, Cults in general, people have a lot of belief in America. I don't know about anything, just general. They want to believe something. Maybe they need religion whenever you don't have healthcare or any social welfare. So people really need, if the government can't look after you, Jesus needs to. And it's this guy, the ashram in India, formed this sort of cult that was like a sort of spin off of Hindu and Buddhism mixed together. And he's a bit of like, it looks a wee bit like a wizard, like a grand master type character. And looks a wee bit like a mixture between Dumbledore and your guy from Lord of the Rings. What's the guy with the big beard from Lord of the Rings? Anyway, I'm sure you can write in to tell me. But anyway, so he's like a bit like a wizard, bit like a yogi, and anyway, well, he sort of made this religion of doing what you like. He says, groups, all the things that hold people back in life. They're not getting enough sex, or they're not getting enough food, or they're not getting enough of their emotions met, or they're not getting no spiritual on a higher level. All these different needs. He made this cult that fulfills all these needs in India. And then there's a place where there's a different yogi round every corner, and people get that there. People understand there being cults there because, the Hindu religion has a lot of different deities, so it kind of fits in there, his carry on. But it was so popular in India, his carry on, because his cult is all about just free love, working together, being vegetarian, being good to the earth, being good to each other, dealing with each other's feelings through strange rituals. We all hit each other and stuff like Tears for Fears therapy. It was around that time. And Tears for Fears therapy is where, you bash pillows and shout your mother's name, to try and release. Got the idea that inside you, these pimped up feelings and emotions that you need to release, to be your highest self. So he mixed Tears for Fears, a bit of yoga, bit of Buddhism, bit of Hindu, and a bit of American gospel of success, and he mixed them all together. And this guy called the Ashram, and but he was doing so well in India that he thought to himself he would go and create the new, I don't even know, go and create a perfect land. And he was like, where is a place that has loads of land that's very cheap? And so he went to this dust bowl bit of America where no one really even wanted the land. It was, stolen off the Native Americans to begin with. And then, the only people that were living there were like sort of strange Trump people, really conservative people. And they all lived like about 100 miles apart. And they're like ranch people. And they had more space than they could shake a stick at. So land was going incredibly cheap, and you inherit land and whatever, and who gets to even buy land is very suspect. You normally can't just come in and buy land; it has to be approved. So anyway, this quiet, rural, conservative part of America that don't like multiple gods, just have their one god, thank you very much. And sexually repressed, over 40, Reagan loving, just doesn't like hippies at all. And then all of a sudden, this ashram comes in of his new religion, the sannyasins, and he tries to set up his own sort of state within a state, a wee bit like the Mormons of Salt Lake City, the way they sort of control that. And then he was using bits in the American Constitution, like the right to assemble, and then he was using these weird loopholes in the American Constitution. And then the locals were all like, "Who the hell are these hippies from um, India coming over here and starting some weird cult?" Um, and next to our land, our peaceful land, because then there was all sorts of drug addicts, homeless people, hippie music players, storytellers, and general eccentrics all landed in this very conservative rancher place. And they tried to form their own society and their own perfect society without all the needing to get finances, without all the needing to be better than everyone else ever wants to see. And, trying to start again, kinking out a couple of them faults that had caused us a few picadillos in the past, like, who gets all the money and who gets all the food and who's the best looking, and all that. If you could start again, you'd be like, well, maybe we'll put checks in place to make us all a bit more equal. And you see, you got to remember, and so a lot of people who were in the city, all around New York and all around these cities, were living in these small apartments. And around the time of Reagan, which was sort of like an extreme form of capitalism and individualism, and everyone was sort of together yet alone, and it was everyone was the success and all this carry on, and it left people feel very isolated because it was like dog eat dog, unfettered capitalism, gospel of success. God wants me to be successful, and very lonely time. And so a lot of these people, lawyers and stuff like that, wanted the change of life, and they had the money and they were good looking and whatever. And this lady who was like the helper of the ashram, Ma'am Sheila, who you'll meet a lot more of, said, "Come on down, everyone from around the country. If you're good looking and you're also got a bit of cash that you can donate, you can join this cult." And anyway, and then it turns out there's sex parties, drug orgies, and Tears for Fears therapies, and it all gets out into the newspapers, and then it's the big standoff between check. But it's a very good documentary. I watched it twice. I showed my parents it, and I really wanted to join this cult myself. I was all like, "No, the ashram, don't leave without me," and you forget, And I would love to have been born in the 80s and been a sannyasin. Oh my god, it seemed amazing. But yeah, no. So this, I think, the 80s was a time of unfettered capitalism, just like now. We're heading back to a gilded age where wealth is, we only got a few people of great wealth and everyone else more struggling than they were, just like the 80s. So this sort of documentary hit now, whenever it came out, hooked on to a sort of a struggling America financially, the same as the struggling it was in the 80s. And then the isolation of individualism and how everyone was sort of alone on Facebook and Instagram and not even chatting to their friends anymore. So this documentary hitched on to the same feeling of isolation that the people had in the 80s, the reason they joined the sannyasins, and an amazing soundtrack and just an amazing landscape and loads of eccentric people in it to watch. And there's nothing more entertaining than eccentric people, probably like myself. There's loads of crazy people for you to be like watching. It also helps that everyone in it is very good looking as well, so that's easy on the eye. And so anyway, there you go, Wild Wild Country. Watch it, show your parents it.